Welcome back to the shop. Today we're back on Fun Destruct. We're going to have a full day, and at the end of this episode, we're hoping that this chassis is on its own wheels and rolling around. My buddy Chris is here today, and we're going to get after it. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car Shop.
The majority of it out of there. It's already been ground clean. So
yeah, I ground it clean. I meant to do on this side, but I didn't. I'll get this one cleaned up if you want to go ahead and start playing with the welder. So what we're doing is we had bolted these frame rails together a couple months ago when we extended this chassis out when Chris was here that day.
Yeah, it's when we sheared off that 9/16 bit in the back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Straightened it out and sheared it off.
So anyway, we bolted it together. Everything is level and square. I checked it yesterday. It's all relative, so it's all good, but we're going to get this frame welded together. We're going to strip the front end off. We got to weld the back on and get the spring mounts, make sure that everything's good, and then we can take this off the table. So fun times. So we're going to get after that. First thing we're going to do is take that grill shell and all that off of there, so that's out of our way, because eventually we're going to have to flip this up on its side so that we can weld underneath.
Yeah, because I can't do underhand. I can't do, welding.
Yeah,
like
overhead
this.
welding.
No, I got it. I'm stuck in this position.
Yep. We're neither of us are very underhanded.
Would it be any better to jack this front up?
To what?
Just to take the front up a little bit more so it's...
I'm not sure. What I think the next step is to get the rear end out of the way and then just get the frame down on the table as much as we can.
We'll have to clear the table.
Well, what we can do, yes, we do have to do that. What we can do is we can use the floor jack so that we're not blowing a gasket trying to pick this thing. We can just put this bar across in here
and then roll the jack across our plates.
Yep. So I guess the next step is to get that rear end out of there, and then we can get this flipped whichever way we choose so we can weld the insides of things and then flip it upside down and get the bottom of this welded. And Flip it one more time and
now I think we've got, one more time. Now I think we've got enough room to clear that out the back.
yeah, I think so.
So we can do it without
Yeah.
unzipping our spines. But we should probably take a couple minutes and dress the area, because we're going to have to step lively around this thing while we're flipping it. And
Yes. Yep, that's a good idea. Okay, let's get that rear end out from under there then, and we'll get redress. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Break it off. We have a little issue. This is no upper bushings in there. And I don't think that's the right control arm either. I really don't. Maybe it is. I can pick up the spare bushing. I've got all of them. I just didn't take time to do it. Oh,
boy,
what was a day? How
where's
many?
where would the front seat be?
Yeah, about
It'd be right
here.
about
Yeah,
here. Okay,
somewhere.
I'll sit in the front seat.
There you go.
Oh, man, all we really need to do is get that Auga horn on here and a few more parts, and that's ready to do.
Yeah,
power slides around the barn.
We can pull it around the yard with a lawnmower. Not quite. We got a little suspension work to do, but you said we used 10 pounds of wire today?
Yeah, that was a 10-pound spool, and I got that for my little welder, and my little welder died on me, and so that was every bit of 10 pounds.
Okay.
And we've got...
And we used 2/3 of a tank of mixed gas? Yeah. So he did 95% of the welding, and I watched for fires. I was the cleanup, and
Yeah.
Helped him cool the gun down and all that stuff. I did a little bit of it. He had to make a trip to town, but
And
it went well. And it's pretty surreal to think that we went from a pile of scrap parts and a couple sticks of metal to having a rolling chassis for a Fundus truck. So thanks, Chris. As always, it's good fun. And
it's always fun coming up here.
everybody needs exciting moments in their project. This is one for us. We got this on the table, off the table yesterday and rolling around, as you saw in the last episode. Today we have dragged the motor out of the back room and got it hanging here, getting ready to test fit it into the chassis. So we're going to let you catch up on that part of it via time lapse, and we'll be right back on the other side.
You know, you might isolate that little bit of audio and keep it as an oops. You know, anytime somebody does something something stupid, it's
cling, 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 cling.
It's
So what I want to do is get the clamps, get the K-frame in its approximated position. And in order to approximate that, we're going to need to stick the radiator on. We don't have to bolt it on, but just have it kind of in place. That way we can measure, you know, I really think our biggest limitation is going to be the drag link to the oil pan. So I don't know, where that's going to come out, but I suspect being on what I see here.
you don't have a whole lot of room before you're going to be on that.
I got a foot, but when I think about where the radiator is, I think it's less than a foot anyway. So I guess let's drop that on there, and then we can kind of approximate the approximation on where it approximately goes. Where's our pucky?
Yeah. I tried to make sure that they were.
Yep. Go ahead and set the pucky down on the bolt, and then can you shove the bolt down through the hole? Sorry. Didn't mean to get personal.
Just a second. Let me get a little bit better line up.
Didn't go. Oh. Can you pick it up again?
Yeah, man. Don't understand how I could have missed the hole, but okay. Well, that's standing anyway.
That's all that matters. Okay, that'll give us.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is further back than I thought.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this brace to the tire. I didn't notice that when it was on the. It'll clear. It'll clear. It's all right. Okay, so
an inch is as good as a mile.
Yep. Let's just try to get this turned sideways and maybe get one of the yellow straps. And we'll just kind of hold it in position. That'll work. Doesn't even need to ratchet. We can just tie it over. Yep. Perfect. And just go up around that frame. Needs to be ishy there. Good enough, yeah.
That'll help keep it in place.
Right, except we do have to roll this chassis back, so that's going to be a little issue, but I think we'll be all right. So let's roll this back.
Yeah, we're just about on our...
That's about perfect right there.
Wow, and that still gives 4 inches to that linkage.
Yep. And what I want to do is go out to scoops and just measure in here between the radiator and that, just to ballpark it. So I'll go do that real quick, and then I don't care if it's back a little bit more. In fact, I prefer it to be back a little more, because I don't know if I'm going to run a mechanical fan or not, but.
Well, about the time you need to get in there for those bolts on the end of that pulley.
Yeah. I'm quite sure that in scoops it's about 3 inches, but I'll be right back.
So what dimension did you get up front?
4 inches. I'm good with 6. I don't mind it. Some of the cars, the motors were back a little bit. As long as we clear the firewall, I'll have wiggle room. Nothing's going to be permanent. But 1 inch one way or the other is not going to be that big a deal. So putting this K-frame under here is not going to work because it's going to interfere, I'm almost positive, with the steering linkage. So what I'm thinking we'll do...
And wouldn't that also put it right in the way of the torsion bars too?
Again, this isn't permanent. I'm just trying to get what I want to do is get the motor in there in position using this, and then rig up some other kind of temporary mount, and then take this back out and build the motor mounts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yes, that would interfere. This would interfere with the torsion bars. I knew it was going to, but my intention wasn't to use this. It was just to use it as a mock-up, because that gives me the offset, correct, because the motor's offset to that side. Not that I couldn't figure that out, but maybe I'm making this overcomplicated. Maybe there's just a better way to do this. But my thought was just take the torch, blow both of those off of there. We can clamp this to the frame. Then all we have is this piece,
Sure. That's going to be some cutting on it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best way to do it. Let's think about it a little more. Okay, so we got a plan. Right now we're hanging by a strap back there on the back, and we're setting on a strap up here in the front. The motor mount locations are approximated. From the frame rail over here is 10 inches, and it's about 8 inches over there. Our drive shaft angle is pretty good and straight. We know that the pinion angle is probably too much, but that's a different issue. It's sitting in there pretty good. So a couple of ways we could do this. I got to think about it. One is we could just do a motor plate, which is basically a piece of steel or aluminum that goes across here and then bolts to the front of the motor, and the water pump goes on the outside of it. That's a common thing. The other way is to make mounts, as we've been looking at. What I do want to do is take this cross member, put it back there by the rear end so that we can get an exact height on where the center bolts are in these motor mounts. And that way we know for sure where we're at here. But this will sit in here just like it is right now. We took the weight off the cherry picker and it stays just fine. Obviously, we need to do a little shoring up, but this can stay in here while I'm figuring all this out. So, well, we've been busy, real busy. We have the motor in. It's not bolted yet. Our K-frame idea did not work. So we made a temporary piece to go across there. That's going to be what I build the motor mounts off of. That's going to work perfectly. We can just build a little shoe back here. Right now, we just have the rear transmission cross member hanging. I threw some exhaust on. This side's fine. This side's going to be a problem with the steering, but I will either get another manifold like this one, or we can get block huggers that'll hold that way in and not interfere here. So, and then with some U-joints and Heim joints, we should be fine. But the exhaust that I had off of an old Duster works fine. So this literally is a fun dust truck because it's all Duster. It's just literally Duster on a tube chassis.
Hey, maybe you could get one that comes way far out and then put your steering linkage right down.
That would be, yeah, there you go.
Just if your motor mounts ever went bad, it would impinge on your steering.
Headers would probably solve this. It wouldn't even have to be block hugger, because that's just the beauty of this. There's nothing under the motor. Most of the time there's crap all under there. It makes it hard, but this is so easy. So yeah, we have a motor.
And we got our 6 inches to the...
Yep. We went 6 inches to the radiator. The Duster or the Dart was 4. But I don't mind that as long as we're not going to end up with a bunch of cab interference. So I'll measure that out sometime. I know I did before. I just don't remember what it is. But if we have to dish in the firewall to make it fit, we will. Well, it has been a full weekend. We got a lot accomplished. Obviously, we got a rolling chassis for the truck. So I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for coming again.
Even got the chassis table out of the way, so now we can slide this back where that was.
He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and comes out here and works for hours before I wake up. So
that's how I get my exercise.
There you go. Well, that's going to do it for this one. thanks for joining. I know this was kind of a short one. It's been a very involved process, but we didn't bring you along for that because it was just literally sitting here watching us pick our noses. Uh, we'll catch you on the next one, and don't forget, it's important.
Raw.